So you bought the poinsettia a couple of days ago and it's already dying? Yeah, I know, I totally feel you. The Christmas star is not very easy to care for, but this is why I recorded this video to help all of us out. I just bought mine a couple of days ago and I already see signs of wilting leaves, but we will get through all of the plant care for poinsettia and we will figure that out for sure. The correct botanical name for poinsettia is Poinsettia pulcherrima. It's most commonly known as the Christmas star or the Christmas rose. I'm talking about these plants with these huge red flowers, but actually these flowers are not really flowers, they are bracts. The flowers are yellow and they are in the middle of these red leaves because the upper leaves are red and then the lower leaves are green. Alright, let's now have a look at how to care for the poinsettia. The first topic I want to talk about is the soil. Poinsettia needs well-draining soil as almost any houseplant there is, but what does that actually mean? So it's a porous soil where water can drain through. Poinsettia especially loves slightly acidic soil. Let's now talk about watering. How often should you water a poinsettia? The ideal watering schedule is about every 7 days, but it really depends on the conditions you have in your home. But 5 to 7 days I think is a good general rule. But you have to be really careful because it's so easy to over or underwater your poinsettia. I had mine like for a couple of days and I just didn't water it. It wasn't 7 days. And I already see wilting leaves. So if you underwater your poinsettia, you will get wilting leaves. They will start to fall off from the bottom. If you overwater your poinsettia, you will get yellow leaves and they will also start to fall off. So neither over or underwater your poinsettia. Lighting. In terms of lighting, a poinsettia prefers bright indirect light. That's also very similar to most plants, so it means that there should be no direct light shining on the leaves for too much. It's also important that you give these plants a rest, so at night time there shouldn't be any light or really low light just shining onto these plants for them to be happy, because this is when they form their beautiful colors in the night. So the ideal temperature is about 60 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. And of course the 60 or 15 degrees is really the under limit that you shouldn't meet. It's known as the Christmas star and Christmas flower, but it's not hardy at all. So it's not frost resistant at all. You need to be careful that the temperatures are not getting too low. Also make sure that you are putting your Christmas star way away from any windows. So if leaves are touching the windows, it's really bad because they can get too cold and fall off and it can hurt and harm your plant. So let's talk about humidity. The ideal humidity for this plant is between 50 to 75%. I think it's quite a bit higher than most people would anticipate, but this is a humidity loving plant. So if you have it in your home, so make sure that it's somewhere where it gets increased humidity. You can always use a pebble tray. Please don't spray your plants. You only get rot like that. It doesn't help at all. Put plants closely together. This will also help to increase the humidity. And of course, if you have a room such as the kitchen or the bathroom where you have increased humidity because of water flow anyways, this is a great place to place them, but you need to make sure that it gets sufficient light. As mentioned, bright indirect light is fine, anything less is not good at all. Let's talk about fertilization. This is an important topic. Do not fertilize when these plants are in bloom. So if you buy these plants around December, they will be in bloom, so you don't need to fertilize them. You only need to fertilize a poinsettia if you keep it after Christmas, and it's a perennial, so it can bloom again the next years, but then you should fertilize it about once every month. You can use regular houseplant fertilizer. Use a fertilizer that is water soluble. Use a fertilizer that is water soluble, just dilute it in the water that you use to water your plant anyways. How do you propagate a poinsettia? You can propagate a poinsettia from stem cuttings. I haven't tried it myself, but I will try it in the future because it's known to be really difficult. Well, we will see. Yeah, an important topic if you have children or dogs and cats or any kind of pets. Is this plant toxic? The good news is poinsettia is not toxic at all, so you don't have to worry too much. But of course, any plant, most plants, whatever. So it's not toxic at all, but that doesn't mean you should eat it. You shouldn't eat a poinsettia because it can result in digestion problems, in diarrhea, and also vomiting. But poinsettia is considered non-toxic, which is the good news. How big can a poinsettia grow? Now hold your horses. It can grow up to 13 feet in height and also 7 feet in width. Why is that? Yeah. The reason is because these are shrubs and considered like small trees. They can grow really high, but for this they would need to survive Christmas, and most don't, unfortunately. But yeah, it would be really cool to watch these plants grow. I'm definitely going to try to make this not just an annual but a perennial, and I will try to grow my poinsettia as tall as possible, and I will show you some footage next year, if it's still alive, of course. What pot should you choose for a poinsettia? The most important thing is that you are choosing a pot with drainage holes. So drainage holes are holes like this where the water can flow out. Poinsettia doesn't like to stay in soggy soil. This will result in a root rot. Ah yeah, this brings me to a great topic, diseases and pests. So poinsettia is really prone to a lot of diseases, and all of these diseases almost result because of either underwatering or overwatering, and it's hard to get it right. So root rot is a common thing with poinsettia if the soil stays soggy for too long. Underwatering, of course, it will result in wilting leaves. You need to be careful with the watering. Stick to your routine of watering about every 7 days. Always stick your index finger into the plant soil, and only if the soil is only slightly moist, you can water again. If it's still soggy, like, you shouldn't water at all, otherwise you will have root rot.